Christmas time is here, happiness and cheer. A metaphysical Christmas truly is all about opening our minds and hearts to that idea of the Christ consciousness that emerges from our heart, that emerges from the heart of God, that grows into our awareness. The Christ consciousness that we remember, the Christ consciousness that we realize that is the true love, the light, the glory, and all those wonderful things of God, the God that's inside us and the God that is outside us. That's what Christmas is about. That's what a metaphysical birth is all about. That's what the spiritual awakening is that activates us and gives us the greatest joy during the Christmas season. You still work? I see he is madly working on it.
It's okay.
Madly. So, I know that the Christmas season has begun because we are in between Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And if you ventured out, you brave soul, you, into the craziness that was Black Friday, or even if you saw some ads on television, or if you got on your computer and you had all these pop-up ads that kept coming up and saying, this is the best Black Friday deal you'll ever find, you know that the Christmas season is already underway. And if you already feel on November 29th that you're behind the 8 ball,
just keep going.
Yeah, I know you hear me, but there are people who are hearing impaired, and I appreciate them. So I have the one that is Vicky's mic, and we'll get the reverb off. And we'll really get into the Christmas spirit. So he's turned the reverb off. Okay, good. If you feel on November 29th that you are behind the 8 ball in your Christmas shopping, here are the 2015 top picks for creative Christmas presents. I know you're just so anxious to see them. This is a 7-in-1 pen. It has a flathead. It has a Phillips screwdriver. It has a level. It has 7 different things in addition to a pen, and you can have it for $24.99. Or you can get a Bluetooth tag that you can put on your keys, because we all, keep track of our phone. We never lose our phone, but our keys are a different issue, and you can pair the Bluetooth tag with your phone and find your keys in just a moment for $40. Or if you're creative and looking for something unusual, they have shower squids for sale. And what you do is you hang them from your shower head, and then you put your shaving cream or your hair products in the little different things. And yeah, I told you it was creative. If you're into adventure, you can go to cloud9living.com and take these wild water rides where they have these hydro packs that put you about 30 feet in the air. Or you can take a helicopter tour of your favorite city. Or you can ride shotgun in a stock car. And these guys operate out of Raleigh, so you don't even have to go too far. A popular gift that you may have heard of before is name a star. It doesn't cost very much, but you can purchase a name for the next discovered star in the universe. Or, new to me this year, is the availability of a plot of land in Ireland for $49.99. And also new to me this year is Moonland for sale. It says it's legitimate for $29.99. You can buy an acre of land on the moon. And then someday, when they actually have transportation, you can write that off on your taxes. Nicholas Sparks, who lives up the road in Newburgh, and he's a prolific author, says, never forget that anticipation is an important part of life. Work's important, family's important, but without excitement, you have nothing. You're cheating yourself if you refuse to enjoy what's coming. So as you anticipate your Christmas event, your Christmas day, however you spend this holiday, as you anticipate it, I invite you to enjoy your anticipation. I have some other Christmas quotes I want to share with you. W.J. Tucker says, no relation, says, for centuries men have kept an appointment with Christmas. Christmas means fellowship, feasting, giving, and receiving, a time of good cheer. It means home. Mary Ellen Chase, a 20th century author, says Christmas, children, is not a date. It's a state of mind. And Edna Ferber says Christmas isn't a season, it's a feeling. Beth Streeter Aldrich says Christmas Eve was a night of song that wrapped itself around you like a shawl, but it warmed more than your body. It warmed your heart. And I love these quotes because they actually fit in with what Unity believes and what Unity teaches. It's that metaphysical Christmas. It's a state of consciousness. It's not an event in itself. It's a state of being. It's a way of thinking. It's a feeling that we have. It's so delicious, it can just wrap around us like a shawl. That's what this is. This is the kind of Christmas that I'm anticipating. This is the kind of Christmas that I'm looking forward to with awe. When we delve into the deeper meaning of Christmas, we turn to scholarship, and Unity scholar Ed Rabel says, Christmas, the event itself, actually began at the beginning of the Bible. He quotes John, he says, in the beginning the Word was God, and the Word was with God. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning, God created the firmament. And metaphysically, the firmament represents our faith. So what that tells us is that from the very beginning of time, we have had faith. And we've had all the faith that we are ever going to need. We've had it in the beginning, we have it in the middle, and we'll have it all the way through our end. And isn't that good news? Yeah, it's really good news. The other thing that looking back teaches us is that from the beginning of time, we have been co-creators with God. We have co-created our life with God. Now, sometimes we forget that we are the in the co-creators. And we seem to manifest metaphysical situations. The Hebrew scriptures are full of stories about humankind manifesting metaphysical situations. They tell stories about how so-and-so forgot his oneness with God, but then he remembered it and miracles occurred. So Abraham, he forgot his oneness with God and miracles occurred. He remembered it and then miracles occurred. The King David, he forgot his oneness with God, but then he remembered it and miracles occurred. So our life is full of instances metaphysically where we've forgotten our oneness with God, but when we remember it, then miracles occur. One of the most beautifully written books in the Hebrew scriptures is by the prophet Isaiah. And what the prophet Isaiah, now this is going to get really fun. Put the clicker down, get the Bible. Oh no, okay, yes, you can turn the page. Isaiah 7 says, "Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child and shall bear a son and shall name him Emmanuel. He shall eat curds and honey by the time he knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good." They teach you that in ministerial school. Isaiah went on to say, "The people who walked in the darkness have seen a great light. Those who lived in a land of deep darkness, on them light has shined. You have multiplied the nation. You have increased joy. For a child has been born for us. A son is given to us. Authority rests upon his shoulders, and he is named Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. His authority shall grow continually, and there shall be endless peace." What a prophecy. What a prophecy written hundreds of years before the birth of Jesus of Nazareth. Can you imagine the anticipation that the people had and held, and how they savored it, and how they relished it, and how they found it absolutely delectable, that someday an understanding would dawn upon them that gave them the authority to create an endless peace? I just think that's marvelous and amazing. Thank you so much. I think it's so marvelous and amazing, I actually copied it out so you could see it. And there it is, for a child has been born for us, a son given to us. Authority rests upon his shoulders. So metaphysically what this means is, in us, this Christ consciousness is born. And the authority that we need to use this Christ consciousness is on our shoulders. Like, we are authorized and deputized. We are the ones who the world is dependent upon to bring this Christ consciousness into manifestation. Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace, his authority shall grow continually. I love that part, because that means we don't ever stay the same. What that really means is our understanding of our Christ consciousness is always growing. It's always expanding. And we always get to anticipate the next good thing that's going to happen to us. The next good thing that we're going to manifest in the world. Now, anticipation is actually a spiritual practice. But it's a spiritual practice with two edges. Because we can anticipate the good, and we can anticipate that other kind of good. There was a definitive study in the Netherlands that showed that when people anticipated their vacation with great joy, that they actually had a happier vacation. So what the study showed, and they tried all these different ways with all these different groups, and they manipulated all these different things, but time after time, the results that were achieved were that anything we anticipate and spend time savoring the experience of, we actually enhance whatever that activity or that experience is. So if we're anticipating something really good, we're really going to have a good time. And if we're anticipating the other kind of good, then we have the other kind of good. Seneca, who was a contemporary of Jesus, said, "He who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." Right? So you don't have to show me your hands. You can just sit on them, but you can just like give me, that energy eye. And who in here has anticipated something being really awful, horrible, and yucky, and then had it turn out really awful, horrible, and yucky? See, you're really brave. You're raising your hand. So I'll just share with you, my divorce was really messy. It was really messy. And when I got ready to see the former husband after about a year, and I had to see him because our younger son was graduating, and I wanted to be at the graduation, and we planned a graduation dinner to celebrate. I knew I was going to be sitting at the same table with him. I was having this kind of anticipatory relishing. I was suffering because I just knew it was going to be horrible, awful, and yucky. I just knew it was going to be painful. I knew it was going to be ugly. And as I was suffering, I was invited by somebody very wise who said, "I wonder what it would be like if you anticipated how much fun you could have being a detached observer." And so I shifted. And you know what? When we actually sat at that dinner, I did have some fun. I did have some fun watching, okay, now he's going to do this, and you know what? He did. And then now he's going to do this, and he did. But my joy came from the commitment to fun, that fun that I was anticipating, the game that I made out of being there with him in that current iteration. I'm telling you, it's a double-edged sword. So when we want to anticipate something and we want to have a good time and we want to be happy, hold happy thoughts. It's like when we plant a garden. How many of you guys are gardeners? Or have watched gardening on TV? Or read about it in a book? When we're a gardener, we plant the seed and we anticipate the plant coming up and we anticipate the leaves that are going to grow and we anticipate the best tasting tomato on the planet. And you know what? That tomato can be the best tasting tomato on the planet. there are a lot of health benefits to the spiritual practice of anticipation. One of which is salivation. I mean, no kidding. Think about last week when I talked about the aroma of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies. Now think about your favorite food that you had on Thanksgiving. And think about, let's just say a nice juicy slice of orange that you could be biting into, and notice how you're salivating. Salivating is good for our digestive process. So see, anticipation is healthy. Another healthy benefit of anticipation is around sleep. When we think about and look forward to getting a good nap or a good night's rest, that's actually where the health benefit occurs. It's thinking about sleeping well that lowers our blood pressure. So anticipation, the spiritual practice of anticipation, is also good for our heart. This is good news. Who knew? Anticipation is good in sports. There are tons and tons of studies done about how anticipation as a practice is good for sports. And if you just think about tennis and that ball coming over the net, if you go for that ball every time, whether you can make it or not, pretty soon your opponent is going to start anticipating that you're going to make it. And they're going to be psyched out. Anticipation is good in business. Marketing strategists use it all the time. If you think about Apple is a master at hype. The iPhone 4 came out, and then how many days till the iPhone 4S, and then how many days till the iPhone 5, and then the 5S, and the 6, and then the 6S, and then the Apple Watch. Think about how the countdown was on everywhere you turned. Apple's genius. It's great out there in the world, this spiritual practice of anticipation. But it's also wonderful for us inside, in our spiritual lives. There's a blog that says, applying the positive side of the spiritual practice of anticipation, the expectation or yearning for something in the future, the prophecy, can be a powerful agent for happiness. Ask yourself if this speaks to something fundamental in human nature. Is looking forward to something as much fun as actually living it? A big birthday, a wedding, retirement. Do we derive as much pleasure from planning for Christmas as we actually get on the day itself? I think so. I think so. And I invite you this holiday season, regardless of your faith, regardless of your tradition, to join in the global consciousness of anticipation, for joy and cheer and happiness and peace that begins in this Christmas season. Let's go into a time of meditation. I surrender to the love of God flowing through my life. I surrender to the love of God flowing through my life. I surrender to the love, I surrender to the peace, I surrender to the love of God that's in my life. I surrender to the love, I surrender to the peace, I surrender to the love of God that's in my life. I surrender to the love of God flowing through my life. I surrender to the love of God flowing through my life. And we do in this time of meditation open our minds and hearts, our bodies, our souls, our consciousness in anticipation of joy in anticipation of happiness and cheer, in anticipation of endless peace, so that the foundation that we have here, the seeds that we plant here, are strong, true, and filled with faith as we sit now in a time of silence.